It's been a week. Today on.
I'm not going to do it.
See, I realized I didn't have an opening line. So that one's on me. That's okay. Hello, welcome everybody to another episode of Press Me to Cancel, your favorite retro gaming podcast. This week we're talking about the famous retro game that came out like 2 weeks ago, Mina the Hollower. It's a game that's been in the making for quite some time under Yacht Club Games, the guys who made Shovel Knight, one of my favorite platforming games. Shovel Knight, I think, is a game that defines its genre. Mina is more of a top-down Zelda-inspired game in a Game Boy graphical style. Is it the same as Shovel Knight? Does it define its genre? Well, we're going to talk about that this week. I'm joined by a panel of experts in the realm of indie games and Dark Souls-ish games. Chart, how you doing this week?
It's been a week. No, it's been good. This has been cool. This is a cool game. I'm excited to talk about this with you guys because this was not something that I was like, I told you at the beginning, I was like, I wasn't waiting for this to come out forever.
Right.
But I had put it on my fantasy critic for at least the last year and a half. And it finally came out, and it came out to glowing reviews. So I was like, I got to pick this shit up because you see it, like you said, it's very Legend of Zelda-y. So I'm excited to dive into this guy.
You put on your fantasy critic the year after I had it on mine, where I'm like, it should have came out. But it didn't. It came out this year, though, and the reviews are pretty positive. Speaking of positive, Wolf, how you doing this week?
I'm feeling qualified this week.
Qualified.
Good.
I like it.
Okay, great. Okay, so in terms of like, we're going to avoid spoilers. One, because these two guys haven't finished it. So there is something at the ending of the game I would like to discuss, but maybe I'll save it for a Discord chat later on. But we're going to avoid story spoilers and certain mechanical spoilers that are surprises in the game. We don't want to ruin this game for anybody because this kind of game is more about the journey and the exploration and figuring out some stuff. But there are some mechanics I do want to discuss. And, we're going to start right off on it and how we define this game. It is certainly top-down, Zelda-inspired. It's basically using, I think it's the Game Boy Color palette, if I'm not wrong, but it's definitely Game Boy-inspired graphics. A lot of the style reminds me of Link's Awakening for a lot of folks, but it's blended in with Castlevania influences. But the one thing mechanically, it is definitely not a Zelda, is there's people who claim it is a Soulslike. Do you guys think Mina the Hollower is a Soulslike?
To a degree.
No. Okay.
Great, moving on. So
short. I say to a degree because usually one of the qualifiers for a Souls-like is you die and you lose all whatever your currency or
okay,
collected doohickeys,
right,
and you have to go recollect them. This game doesn't really do that to you. You have to go collect what are called sparks. And if you don't do that, then you lose all your currency. But if you have the chance to just go spend it all or use it all before you die, you don't lose it. You've used it.
Right.
So it's fine. So I've had that happen a couple times where I'm like, I'm in a situation where it just sucks. I am not getting these sparks back. I'm going to go spend all my cash and then just tank it.
Yeah. In that sense of the word Souls, like, yes, it does have that, but you are protected. But just like in Souls games, your currency is your souls, and just like this, you use your cash to either level up or
your bones,
buy items, the bone dust, bone shards, or whatever. So okay, sure,
I would maybe call it a Souls Light.
That's fine.
You're making new genres on us. We're gonna get the people angry.
Yeah.
So here's the thing there is the concept you collect bones. That is the currency in this game. And the unique thing here, well, maybe not so unique, is you use the bones to level up your attack, your sub-weapon damage, your defense, or you can bank it. But it's very similar to another Zelda game, Zelda 2 on the NES, right? Where in that game you got XP and you spent your XP to level up, or you could save it and level it up later. And that's what Mina lets you do. So you have a choice whether you upgrade your attack or you bank it for defense that you might have done earlier or whatnot. In terms of the death mechanic where you lose your bones, I only ever had that happen twice in the 20 hours I played this game. I died lots. Don't get me wrong. Like, the game is hard, but I only ever lost bones twice, and it wasn't a huge deal because it was fairly easy to get more currency. Did you guys have an issue where you were losing bones a lot? Was that frustrating for you guys, or was it okay?
At the beginning, I probably lost a few hundred bones twice.
Okay.
I hit a point where I was about to lose 1,850, and I hadn't figured out the fact that I could go spend it instead of losing it.
Yeah.
And so I don't remember how I handled it. No, I actually, it was this stupid little secret boss fight. And the guy was a pain in the ass, but I love one of the things I love about the non-major boss fights is they let you leave the room.
Right.
So I
Right,
would go
yes.
in and try, and if it wasn't going well, I'd run right back out, go back over to my hole, jump in, heal, come back out, go try again because it was like a room away.
Right.
Right.
Right. I did, but I
Okay.
was, you know me, I face tank a lot of shit trying to figure this game out and figure out what we were doing, and but I just thought of it like any other Soulsy type game where I was like, oh, just go get it back, just go fight the thing. But there was more than enough times that the jumping attack, like hitting flying enemies, was my biggest bane at
Right.
first. Was trying to land those attacks on things that would fly around. I died from the stupid bats and those pointy tail things that fall on you in the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Owls, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those after a little while, when I started getting used to their existence, then I stopped losing them. But those were just attacking anything flying was my biggest headache.
Yeah, it's definitely much like Souls games. It pays to memorize the attack patterns of enemies, even if there's not as many, obviously, as like Dark Souls or Elden Ring. The other aspect of this that is very Souls-like is the healing system or the potion system, which I don't
Yeah.
mind the concept of having flasks to heal yourself. I think that is great. But what annoys me in Mina is you kind of have two health bars in a way. You have your health, and as you've taken damage, it goes down. But if you use the potion right away after taking a big chunk of damage, you heal nothing. In order to heal properly, you have to either collect yellow flowers or you have to kill enemies to build up your, I forget what they call it, but it's a yellow health meter.
Plasma.
It's plasma,
right. Which does nothing for you health-wise. If you have a whole yellow meter of health, but you only have a sliver of red health, you take one hit, you still die. But if you have a full yellow meter, you can use a potion to instantly heal it. So you can't just, if you take a really bad hit, which can happen with some bosses, or a really bad run of enemies in a particular room, you can't heal right away. You have to build that plasma up. That felt not Souls-like. I don't know if there's other Souls games that have that mechanic or if this is unique to Mina, but that one drove me crazy. I did not like the healing in this at all.
Bloodborne kind of has that.
Does
where
it? Okay.
if you get hit by an enemy, you have a split amount of time that if you hit the enemy back, you will heal up. It's not the plasma in sense where you actually get life back. It's like a life stealing technique that you can get some of the stuff back after you've taken damage from another enemy. That's the closest thing I could think of it that in a Souls game that's like that. This one is kind of its own ball game with the having to have plasma to heal up to a certain point. That's kind of a new thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that. Late game, it's a lot less of an issue than early game. But yeah, early when you're struggling with trying to, avoid getting whacked out of your brains by like the flying monsters that you're just trying your hardest to even hit, and you miss all the time.
Yeah.
Like that's a definite mechanical learning curve there. Now I struggle a little, but not nearly as much as I did at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, with things like that, the plasma vial, it's a pain in the neck. And there was a trinket I got that made it to where you always heal at least some health.
Yeah, I think that's
and
the
at the
vial
point I
flask.
got that, like it was like a third of my health bar at that point. So I was like, okay. But that amount never goes up. That sum that you heal never increases. So as your health bar gets way bigger, that little bit that you heal gets way smaller. Late game, if you're just burning those heals with that thing, and I keep that equipped a lot of the time because it's 2 extra plasma vials as well. So
that was one I never took off. I still have that. I will put however many I could find, but that guy is just permanent. I just hold on to that bad
I've
boy.
taken it off for a couple of things, depending on the area or boss fight, what other trinkets I need. I do find
Right.
myself shuffling trinkets usually partway through a new area, and then maybe for harder bosses.
So that's a good segue into what the trinkets are in this game, and that's pretty awesome for Mina. Is you start with one trinket slot, and these are items you can equip that give you a boon of some kind. But you can unlock definitely more trinket slots. I think I ended up with 5 when I finished the game, if I'm not wrong. And
Nice.
I have 5 now, and I think there's one more that
Okay.
I've seen, and I just can't get to it just yet.
so one of the reasons why I like the trinket slots is they don't use any resources. They just take a spot in your inventory, and you can use them. There's like 60, I think, in the game. There's a good variety of them.
There's a ton.
There's a bunch,
Yeah.
yeah. And the great thing is everything that you may find frustrating in Mina, there's usually a trinket to counteract it. Like you don't like lava damage, there's a trinket for that. You don't like taking health damage when you fall down a freaking pit every 5 seconds, there's a trinket for that. You don't like
Yeah, you don't like
not
getting
claiming-
zapped by lightning bolts?
Yep.
There's a trinket for that.
Yeah. Or even like we just said with the sparks, the issue of like, well, I can't get my spark back, I'm screwed. There's a trinket that lets you regenerate sparks by killing enemies. So there's always a trinket for something. So and that was really great. There's one where I got, and if you die, you come back to life on the spot. It's a free life.
Yep.
That's like the
Yeah, that one I've never taken off.
yeah.
That one's
And
dope.
like once I got that, and and it was a pain to get, but once I got it, it never leaves my bar. So there are definitely certain ones that you want to keep, but there's a few that are related to plasma and healing. There's one that I think it deploys bombs if you use a vial. I think is what it does. I never really took a slot to use it, but there's some interesting stuff. There's one that makes it so you heal faster. I use that for a while because when you use a potion, if you get interrupted during your heal, much like Silk Song, you get screwed. You get no health back, and you take more damage.
Right.
So there's ones that do that. There was one I used for a little bit where you automatically use vials to heal just while you're playing the game, and that was helpful during some pretty chaotic boss fights. So the trinkets are a pretty cool system. Was there any other trinkets you guys felt like are must-haves?
That I would definitely say the heal faster one is an absolute must-have. There's some that I cycle in and out, specifically movement based. So there's one that lets you constantly just dive back down. As soon as you pop out, you just hold the jump button and she'll just dive right back in. Jump out, dive right back in. That's super useful under certain circumstances. There's also the claws of the wallower, which lets you sort of like dig into a wall next to a pit and slide along next to the pit like you're in the ground.
Interesting.
So that's super handy. I've used the crap out of that. There's the one with the air dash, which can be good, but if you're trying to get around a lot and you're also trying to, attack things and do a dive to like slide under something and jump over a pit, you're going to end up accidentally air dashing just trying to prepare for a dive. And that screwed me over a ton. The slow fall is great. I keep expecting there's going to be one that lets you high jump, but I've not found it yet.
I think there is. I don't think I ever using it. The one I used a lot when I got it late is it lets you stay underground longer, because in this game mechanically there's no, at least in the beginning, there's no parry or dodging really. Your dodge is digging into the ground and moving away. It's not quite a dodge roll like in the Souls game or Witcher, but it's the best you got. But if
It's
you
the
have
closest thing. Yeah.
it's closest thing. But when you use this trinket, I think it's a lung, you get more time to stand underground and get away, and that was invaluable during some certain boss fights, especially ones with screen filling attacks. This let me get away, so that was pretty useful. Charlie, what about you?
Nice.
What trinkets have you found are really great?
I love the vials. I'm a big fan of the vial, and the like you guys said, the life one has been quite useful. I like the steady shoes that allow you to do the water, that allow you to go on you can walk on things a little bit better.
Ice,
and
even.
you're a
There's
little
a
more
whole ice dungeon that was nothing because I had those.
Yeah, I
shoes.
probably should have had those equipped for that ice dungeon where I was struggling with the air dash.
Yeah.
I like the flies that you get, that you get a little protective ring of flies that help in certain areas when you're surrounded by things. I I'm like a guy that falls into something that I'm like, this is cool, and I just run with that. And even though there's things that could astronomically benefit me later on in certain areas, I'm like, nope. I like these 3 trinkets. That's what I'm running with for the foreseeable future until something else pops up. And I don't even think about this could be useful here. Switch it out because I'm like, but
Right.
I still need blank and blank to come with me. And I really like these shoes, so I'm gonna leave this on.
Oh.
There's definitely a learning curve that comes with the trinkets and the amount of them. I was not expecting there to be
Oh yeah.
as many trinkets as they came out with. So it's insane at what it does to change the fuse. I like the life vest too. That one's a pretty good one too. It's like the water ring that you get, or the little the donut, the little floaty
Oh,
donut
the
that
life.
you get.
I don't. Is that a
Yeah,
trinket? What does that one do?
yeah. There's like a lifesaver one that I think helps you with that water
Oh
level, like
shit!
in the
I
bayou
don't
and
think I got
stuff.
that one.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on the builds.
I
Like
did
once you get a
find that,
build,
but I
you
never
don't
used
leave
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Fair.
So my thing is, you do have 5 slots, but I always wanted the shoes. I always like the lung for longer burrow time. I had to have the spark for instant recovery, so that's like 3, 4 right there. The other one I used to use a lot was I can't remember I can't remember what the name of it is, but the more you attack in a sequence, you get a boost in damage. So the first
Yeah,
attack
yeah, yeah, I
is
remember
normal
that
damage. The
one.
next one's 1.25, then 1.5, 1.75, or something like
Right.
that. And then if you miss,
Oh,
it goes,
yeah, I
it
never
goes back
used
down.
that.
So it's
Yeah.
great when you're using certain weapons. So like I started the game with daggers. There's 5 weapons in this game. You get to pick in the beginning of the game. You pick either daggers, the whip, or the hammer.
Hammer.
I started with
hammer.
the daggers, which was rough
Same.
because you have no
Same.
freaking range with those things,
Oh.
but they attack
And
fast.
and yeah,
And with this
that's why the
trinket,
flying enemies were such a fucking pain to
yes.
me.
But once you have this trinket, stabbing repeatedly in a row was wrecking bosses. Like it was really awesome. And like later on, when I got the gun, rapid fire. Like you have bullets. You have to build up bullets with the gun. So you whack enemies with the club in a diagonal. So that's your diagonal attack. And then when you have your ammo, you can shoot it as a gun. But when you're shooting that 8 bullets in a row against bosses from a safe range, and they're hitting 8 times, it's doing solid damage every single time. So I was kicking up the ass of bosses toward the end of the game, but the beginning was rough until I got that trinket. So I guess that kind of segues into like, what weapons did you guys find were useful? Like you start with daggers. Did you use anything else or no?
I have since switched to the Morning Star, and I really like the Morning Star, the whip, or
The whip.
whatever
Okay.
you want to say. Yeah, I do like the gun. Once you kind of dropped, you should try this and see how it works. I dig it. I absolutely dug it, and then I realized, yeah, it's good. Both it's good with the shooting is fantastic, and the range on it is really good. But I really like the whip. I like how far I can hit things from, and I just got an upgrade to the whip that allows that if it's the distance is further, the enemy takes more damage. It's like its second stage
Right.
that you get when you upgrade that weapon.
Yeah.
So I try to get as far back as I can when I attack something and it causes massive damage than something that's close to me. And I honestly have been really cruising once I got that whip. That it's been a huge changer.
Wolf, how
So
about you? What did you use?
I started with the Morning Star, and I've basically never used anything else except for when I find a weapon and it automatically equips it, and then I'm stuck with that for a time.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I
until
had
you
a
can find a
point where
burrow,
I
yeah.
found two weapon upgrades on the same screen, like in the same secret area.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
And I ended up taking the dagger 1 second. And then all of a sudden, my dagger had its second upgrade. And I don't know what the hell is up with it, but it just wanted to do whatever the hell it wanted to do. She kept like doing jump kicks and shit when I was just trying to walk around.
Weird.
It was getting on my nerves. Like I had to put, it took 3 attempts to just dive into the hollow hole to be able to go change the weapon. Cause she kept like just dive bombing away for whatever reason. So
Okay.
Strange.
So
my
the one
experience with the daggers was limited, and that I absolutely hate. So fuck the daggers.
So the first upgrade you get, the first upgrade actually, once you start using it, is excellent because it
That's the
lets
throwing
you
one, yeah.
charge forward, and it
Oh,
kind of
that's
homes in on the enemies. So when you're in this game, much like Link's Awakening, you really only normally attack in the 4 directions, right? Meanwhile, the enemy can come at you from any freaking direction. It doesn't matter. But you're limited to the original 4. But the daggers, when you get the charge upgrade, that was how I was diagonally attacking things. You have to get used to it flying at angles at times, but it was good once you get used to it. You can still
I
attack
wasn't
normally
even
as
touching
well.
the attack button, and I'd just be walking, and she's
that's
like,
odd.
"Well, there's something to do, so I'll just kick." And I was
No,
like,
that's
"Why are you
strange.
doing
That.
this?"
Mine wasn't doing that
So
either.
I could not wait to get it off.
Because the second upgrade, you actually throw the dagger, and it does the same amount of damage. So it's a range attack, does a lot of damage, but then you have to go pick it up afterwards, and that's where I'm like,
Right, you only have the
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
That I thought was really neat, but when she started doing that, it was getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
I do like the battery buster, like the basically the mega buster.
Yeah.
That is really cool. I only have one upgrade for it so far. Same with the coffin shield thing. I have one upgrade for that, but apparently I can use it to like jump off of it with that upgrade, which is pretty cool.
Huh.
So the one I got, I know I tried using the coffin because it said you can parry with it, but I guess I couldn't get the timing right because every so often it would do like a weird, creepy hand from the coffin attack, but I couldn't figure out the timing of it. So again, I got the upgrade. I got the weapon in a chest somewhere. I used it for 5 minutes, and then I immediately switched out for the buster. I haven't used that one. The buster's how I beat the game. Is honestly, yeah, daggers is the lack of range in this game definitely hurts. I think if I were to do it again, I would probably stick with the whip. I think because the whip seemed like a good standby.
That's been my go-to the whole game.
Yeah, for sure.
It's what I started with in the demo, and so when I bought the game, it just let me bring my save file into the game. So I was like, all right. So I picked up right at the end of the demo.
Unlike Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. And so I just was like, I guess I picked the Morning Star. I don't remember what my choices were, but
right.
Okay.
The coffin seems interesting. I've never actually used it in combat. The daggers I used a little bit. The hammer I used a little while because I found an upgrade for that in the middle of a new area.
Yeah,
and it was a while before I could get to a burrow, so I was stuck with that for a bit. And I didn't mind it, but it was too slow and
very slow,
too short range for my liking.
Yeah.
So the Morning Star, like it works like like the whip in Castlevania has for the last 25 years. So I'm like, okay, this one I know. If
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So I guess much like Castlevania, so you have the whip. I mean, this game is very Castlevania coded, right? In terms of like the theme.
Yeah, to a degree.
Like the Victorian area inspired design of stuff. But you have the whip, the Morning Star, which very much is like the vampire killer. But then also you have sub weapons like Castlevania. So in much like that, so you have there's daggers, right? Yeah, there's a thrown dagger that can hit twice. There's throwing axes. But then there's which are very much from Castlevania, but there's also crazy things like a fog machine. There's one that spawns a portal. Like there's quite a variety of sub weapons, but I can tell you guys, I almost never used them. I did not like them. I don't know if it's because of the limited resource that you had to collect to use them, or just that they didn't do much damage to me. I also did not put points into updating, like upgrading it, the level. I always put points into defense and attack.
Oh.
Did you guys find any use of the sub weapons? Like, there's a lot of them.
Oh yeah, I've used the crap out of the mist jar. Like that saved my ass because it actually heals you when you use it to go through something.
Oh,
and it generates plasma at the same time.
I knew about the plasma. I didn't think it healed you.
Yeah, dash through foes, restoring health and plasma.
Oh, I missed that.
It doesn't do damage, but it heals you. So I've used the crap out of it. And then, I turn around and start wailing on them to get a little more plasma, get some damage out, and then heal. Because I'm like, usually once I start using that, I'm like, I'm in a bind. Time to start healing. Okay. And that has saved my ass a ton.
Huh. I'm going to have to try that one out. If I can ever separate myself from the fucking bike, the Iron Steed is dope. I love that goddamn thing. I ride that bike fucking everywhere.
Pretty cool. But
I like that
I've only used it really for traversing long pits because there's been a few pits where I've had to use that and like still slow fall. In fact, there was one that was like you needed that plus the air dash plus the slow fall to get across the pit to get to a really difficult boss. And that boss stomped the crap out of me for a while until I finally was able to beat it. But
I wonder if I did that one.
Yeah, like
yeah, because there's like city. I mean, I don't know. I'll have to check because there are definitely some pits that were hard to get across. Because normally Mina can jump one space no problem on her own, 2 spaces if you do a burrow jump where you go underground and you leap out of the ground. That's 2 spaces, and if you want to do 3, at least early in the game, you need the iron bike, right, to do it. But you do get, I believe it's trinket. No, not trinket. It's either a trinket or a sub weapon that lets you use spider webs to walk 1 or 2 spaces ahead or something in a pit. So there's different ways of traversing pits, but you don't get them necessarily until later on. The weird thing with the sub weapons is where you find them is static. So there's an iron bike in town that you can eventually unlock, and it's always there. So whenever you want an iron bike, if you want to pick it up, you can go grab it from town. Similarly, there's an axe just south of town that's right at the beginning. So if you want an axe, well, you know where to go. But even with that in mind, there were some sub weapons I really liked a lot. Like there was a drill shield thing where you went charge forward with it. I used a lot of that because you could knock enemies into pits with it. You can bump into things. You're invulnerable when you're charging forward with it. So I use that quite a bit. But when you die, at least in the beginning, you lose a sub weapon, which I didn't like that at all. I like having the sub weapon that I was accustomed to.
Yeah.
I didn't like change. Like eventually you unlock ways to keep sub weapons, right? So they're readily available. But it was a while before I got that unlocked. I don't know. I don't know what
Press
you guys.
B to cancel doesn't handle change well.
Yeah. We don't things to change. No.
Took them 7 years to be okay with me and Sinistar, so it's fine.
We got there. It's good. But yeah, that iron bike is really
there's
cool.
Also, I did want to tell you guys, there's a trinket that basically acts as the Tanuki suit from Mario 3.
Oh shit, I haven't seen that one yet.
What, like flies?
No, like you stand still and you turn into a statue.
So statue.
Oh really? Okay, I don't think I got that one. Interesting. Yeah, there's so many of them in the game. There's a bunch. It's crazy.
Oh, they're numbered. I have the game open on the other screen, just going through my inventory stuff.
I saw you turn it up on Steam. Was he playing it while we're talking about it? That's very GP of you.
Yeah, can you do a few laps
no,
for
I'm
us?
not playing. I'm just going through my finds. That's all.
Yeah. So I guess going into like I guess more in the difficulty aspect of this and just the Zelda-ish of it. I guess well it's unlike Zelda. In Zelda, famously you kind of do the dungeons in a certain order. You can sequence break in some of the games, but generally you're supposed to go through the palaces in a certain order. But in Mina, actually, there's basically 6 dungeons. There's a final dungeon, but the 6 dungeons that are core to the game, you can actually do them in any single order. And I some are more tricky to get to than others, but you can do all of them in any order. And I found it interesting when I talked to you guys which dungeons you had done first, because I started with a crypt, which is generally considered one of the easiest ones, and I struggled with Bone Beach, where you go inside this dead whale. That was one of the hardest dungeons I did. I did that toward the end of the game. But I think you guys did the Bone Beach early, if I'm not wrong. Chart, I think you did first. I think Wolf, you did
the first dungeon I did.
It was my second.
Yeah,
it was the first one I pulled off. Yeah, it was
Like
the first
that-
one I found. I didn't know where the hell I was going. I was just trying to bebop around the map, which is something I'll discuss here, in a little bit. Was trying to find my way around because there's not a lot telling you. So
it was definitely something. It was tricky at first. Yeah. It doesn't do the I try to compare. I try to do a lot of comparing this to Link's Awakening and maybe Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, because there's some definite design choices there that are very similar. But usually in those, you hit an area and it's like pretty obvious. You can't go this way. You're going to need a tool of some sort. Right. And Mina doesn't do that to you. It's just like, do you know how to go this way yet? Because if not, good luck. But you can try all you want. Yeah. Like, we're not going to make it real clear that you can't. So you can just keep trying and maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll figure something out.
Yeah. That's the thing. I think that was one of the things that hangs me up. Why my brain looks at it and goes Zelda. So I think I need to go to this dungeon to get whatever I need out of that dungeon to progress to the next thing. Doesn't do that. It's not anything like that. So I'm like, okay, well, how do I traverse the rest of this stuff? Because I assumed that was going to give me what I needed to move on to the next spot. And there's just another way. You just haven't I just haven't found it yet. So
yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of things that are going on in this game and directions you can go and places you can go with little to no assistance on helping you get there. It's very and classic retro in that sense of maybe I should get a map book out and get some graph paper and start drawing where I'm going.
There's some stuff that they make it real clear. This is how you overcome this thing. It's like something that sounds innocuous from an NPC telling you something. And it's like, oh, that was a big clue to be able to do this spot.
Right.
And I didn't figure it out until late game. And there's one that's like told to you right off the bat. It's like in the first town early on. And I didn't figure that out to get in there until I had done 4 or 5 dungeons. And then I was like, oh, I'm dumb.
Well, if it makes you feel better, just the concept of we didn't really mention it. Again, like Souls-like games, there's checkpoints, right? The bonfire equivalent of this game, there's holes, and that's when you touch that, it's a checkpoint when you die. You start there. I didn't realize you could burrow into the goddamn thing, and it was like a mini base thing for
Yeah,
at least
sure.
an hour or so. I didn't realize that's what you're
Wow.
supposed to do. So like I kept dying, starting back at the pier where the checkpoint was. It was not until I got to Ossix where I'm like, oh, you can actually go into the damn thing, and it's like a base, and there's stuff there, and you can store things there and change your weapon. And like I didn't realize that for at least an hour or two. It was pretty stupid when it's the same thing with Tunic.
Oh,
Tunic did
man.
the same damn thing. When you
Yeah.
realize when you play Tunic
Yeah.
what you can do at the checkpoints, you're like, oh, I'm a moron. Okay, now I know.
Right.
But like the game
There's a lot
doesn't
of-
hold your hand, right?
There's a lot of correlation between this
No.
and Tunic, honestly. Like
Yeah.
it's Souls-like, Souls-light. It's got Legend of Zelda aspects to it.
Yeah.
This one just looks like it's on a Game Boy Color. It's
Yeah.
kind of
But like you know what it does too, like it does do the Zelda thing in that when you go to a dungeon, you kill the big boss, you get a health upgrade, right? It's roses in this instead of hearts, but you get a health upgrade. You still get utilities in the games in the form of trinkets. You get at least a trinket in every single dungeon, so there is that aspect. Nothing is not required to progress necessarily. It just makes things easier in other ways, right? The
Right.
trinkets you find could help you in certain dungeons, but you don't necessarily need them. So it does, but it does have that. I like how it handles weapons and upgrades. There is a blacksmith in town that sells the weapons, but you can also find the weapons out in the world. But if you already have the weapon, when you find where it would be in the world, you get one of the upgrades, right? And
Right.
so it's
Yeah.
like so it dynamically kind of fills in the blanks. There's another way to get weapons in a certain spot I won't spoil, and you can go that way and get them. And again, it all dynamically takes into account where when you go to find the chest in the world, you can maybe have the item ahead of time and it changes it for you. So I thought
Yeah,
that
that's
was
cool.
pretty interesting too. Like it's a game that's meant to be played in different ways. You're not forced in the set path. So like there is a newspaper system where in town there's a person who hands out newspapers, and that it tells you basically your death stats, which is always fun to see how many times you freaking died. But it also gives you a vague clue on where you're supposed to go through next. But you can ignore it and just go wherever you want. Like there's definitely ways to do it in different orders. The game has a pretty robust new game plus system if you want to dive into it after you've beaten the game, and you're encouraged to take them in the dungeons in any order. Like you can do them in any order you want, and then then you do the final 7th area. So it's pretty interesting in that regard. Yeah, what a hard game though. So I can't believe you guys did Bone Beach early on, and like that would have thrown me off of the game entirely. I even like the boss, like which is this giant brain thing. He has like 3 or 4 different attacks, and the bosses take a lot of hits. But for the brain itself, it's like he's got these heads that poke out of him, and you have to knock the heads off. But when he's down to one head, he starts moving around more, and it's hard to hit that one head to damage him. It took me way more attempts than I wanted. So I really struggled with that brain boss. Did you guys do the ice dungeon yet? Both of you?
I haven't gotten there yet.
I have.
I
Okay.
haven't done that one yet.
All I have left is the astral orrery.
Okay. So with the ice dungeon, all I'll say is that the boss very busy, constantly moving, like there's no downtime in between the attacks, and it was a real struggle for me to beat that boss too. Like those are the 2 bosses
That was one of
actually
my
took me more
favorite
than
boss fights.
I fucking hated it. Like she's dropping barrels on you, throwing crap at you, she's diving into holes, and just like I never had time to get ammo back. So that was one of the bosses where
I
I
was like,
switched
this is
weapons.
one of the coolest fights in this game so far.
Yeah.
I'll dig it.
Visually
I like
cool.
the brain boss, and I like the Bayou boss so far. That those 2 are probably the brain boss was
croc-
frustrating as hell. Yeah, the crocodile. I thought he was pretty fun.
The croc was
That was
interesting.
fun.
Yeah.
That was a
I
fun
do
fight.
I do like the pixel art style in this game. Like the graphics are wonderful. Like I'm hit or miss when it comes to the color palette choices, but Mina does it pretty well. Like they nail the style they're going for, and the music is it was Jake Kaufman. He's the one who did Shantae, so his music is always a banger. So it's visually great,
Oh,
sounds
soundtrack's
great. It was really just the gameplay that I think might scare people off.
This definitely tickles the nostalgia bone. If you're interested in
Yeah.
like playing a new retro game, this is fucking right up all of our retro friends' alleys. This is a really good game. Oh, in that
Yeah,
sense.
it feels like I know I mean this in the best possible way. It feels like a Game Boy game in terms of how it plays.
Yeah.
But like, that's like a modern Game Boy game, which sounds
Right,
really
yeah.
weird. But I
Yeah.
mean, like
Like 60
mechanically, it's
frames,
nailed
but
down. It's super tight. It's really pretty. It looks like a Game Boy game, but with many colors. So like
yes.
little different characters and objects have their own
Yeah.
little color palettes instead of just like 4 shades across the screen. But I
Right.
mean, I think every character, everything is like, 3 or 4 colors is what the limitation is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some stuff that's a little more, but it generally seems to be like 4 colors per 16 by 16 tile.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I think even Mina herself, you have the option later on to change
She's
her
just 4
colors.
colors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she's
Which
just
I
4
thought was
colors.
really cool.
Yeah.
Like
It's kind of like a Alucard from Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a reward after you in the original Zelda you find the upgraded tunic and then another upgraded tunic, and now Link he went from blue or green to red to blue or to blue to red.
Yeah,
I don't remember the
think so.
order.
Blue to red, right?
Yeah.
But in this, it's like you start with her red, and then you find another color, and then you find another color, and then you can go back to one of the shopkeepers, and they let you choose your palette, the 3 colors that Mina is, which I thought was super rad. So of course I made her like blue and pink, but
Like you do.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. I also like when you mentioned you compare this game, less Link's Awakening, more like what's the combat heavy Oracle's game? Was it Seasons that was more combat heavy? Ages?
I think it was Ages.
Yeah. So
I think
that's and that's
Seasons
what
was the
reminds me of.
puzzly one.
Because like there's puzzles in the game, but there's no sliding at blocks really, right? Like the most puzzly thing are more like platformy puzzles, right? Trying to navigate a certain situation. There's one particular sequence where you're moving across platforms, but then there's also enemies attacking you, and then also periodically on the screen, lightning strikes the screen. Unless you have a lightning rod nearby, then the lightning will hit the rod and not you. Although even when it hits the rod, it still does a 4-way blast of lightning you have to not make sure you're not in the path of, which is really frustrating. But that was like a puzzly platforming type of situation. And then the game's full of those kind of things. In fact, every area in the game around each of the 6 dungeons has a very core unique mechanic to it, whether it's like burning pumpkins to progress, using lava and using lava to destroy terrain to make your progress, or the ice thing and the grinding on rails. Like every area had a really cool, unique twist to it that I don't think I've seen in a Zelda game. So it definitely does its own thing too, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, there's also I did find the Sonic rail grinding kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But there's also like the darkness mechanic in this game was really neat. Sometimes you'd find a way to create light in the darkness that you wouldn't expect it to create light. Usually in most games it wouldn't do that. But they're like, yeah, this would cause light to happen, so we'll give you a little light for a moment when you do that in the dark. I thought that was really neat.
Or like me, you actually break a torch because you have to hoard all the items the collectibles, even if you don't need them.
And then all of a sudden dark.
And now you can't see anything. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Been there.
I have to ask, I don't want to spoil what happens, but did either of you ever stand in the dark too long?
No.
Yes, but I don't understand what that was. Like it's, I know what happens, and because there's one particular room that happens in, but I couldn't figure out what if it was if it was an encounter I could fight, or it was just a thing to make you not go in the darkness willy nilly. I don't know.
I think it's just a thing to keep you from wandering the dark too long.
Okay.
It's essentially the dark's version of falling in a pit.
Okay. There was one thing in this game. There's several instances where you have to do a escort mission of sorts, where you have to escort an NPC across.
Oh my God, I hated that one.
There's a couple that are okay, but there's one where you're in a dark room and you have a guy you're escorting who has the light source, but then I think he also does, when he does the light source, he also pushes you backwards, I think is the one I'm thinking of.
If he's near you, yes.
Yes. So the idea is you want to keep him at a distance, but not too far, because you need the light he casts on so you can see where you're going. But you're also trying to navigate around edges and ledges and lips of holes and he could knock you into the holes if you're not paying attention. That whole sequence, it took me like 4 tries, and I got so fed up by the end of it, I
Oh,
almost
it
quit
probably
that
took me a
area.
dozen.
Yeah, it was really brutal. And there's a few that are kind of frustrating. And there's also one sequence in terms of platforming issues. There's a mechanic for lily pads, right? And that's been in games before where lily pads are in the water, and then they have a timing base where they go under the water and you can't jump on them. So you have to wait for them to rise and you can jump across them. There's one secret in order to get through it, or maybe not secret, maybe just a shortcut through a dungeon, because the game is full of those. You had to get ahead of a statue and then safely bring that head of the statue and jump across the lily pads, and you got to toss it on a statue to complete a statue, and that unlocks something for you. But of course, similar to Mario 2, when you pick up a statue head, Phanto comes flying on the screen and will damage you. And of course, when Phanto's trying to hit you while you're trying to jump across the lily pads, the head falls in the water, and then of course it despawns. You have to go back and get it again. That was another sequence, was just incredibly frustrating. Like, there's a lot of frustrating elements in this game, and a lot of it I think came down to the platforming elements, where every time you fall in a pit, you lose a sizable chunk of your health bar.
Yeah.
Or in the case of like the statue head, where you needed to kind of unlock something, it was several screens back, so you have to go back across the pits you just made it across in the first place. It was challenging. It's not an easy game. So like, did you guys find that frustrating, or was that just part of the charm of this game?
Okay. I did not care. I'm not a jumping puzzle guy. Most people who know me well. I don't do well with jumping puzzles. I don't do well with falling into pits constantly. And I'm sure we'll touch on this quickly, but there's a lot of accessibility in this game. There's a ton of accessibility in this game. And for the first time, I was like, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy this game because it's fun. So I turned off falling into pits damage, because that was like the first thing I took off. Because I just like, I can't do this shit. I need to figure it out, because when I played on the Steam Deck, which has been primarily what I've played this on, you jump, and if you're just a little bit on the stick, you'll go fucking diagonal and into a hole, like every goddamn time. And I was getting real frustrated with it. So once I turned that off, then I was fine. I had a very enjoyable time after that got changed. So the only thing that I'm kicking myself over is because now you don't get any achievements for anything that you do.
You also don't get Steam achievements either, as well.
No.
There's an in-game achievement system called feats, but then you also don't get the Steam Chivos. I found it afterwards, which is kind of a bummer. But at the same time, without those modifiers, I don't think I would have finished the game. Wolf, did you use any of those or no?
No, I'm actually just looking at the menu now to see what kind of stuff is in there.
So while you look at them, there's a ton when you first boot up the game, and we're talking things like half damage, right? Or you can make it so you take more damage, extra damage,
definitely both
attack,
spectrum.
Longer jumps, floatier jumps, all the trinkets in the game. Like when I said that if there's anything in the game gameplay wise that frustrates you and annoys you, there's probably a trinket for it. If you can't wait to find that trinket, there's a modifier to do the same thing, and you can just turn it on. The one I use, so like, listen, don't judge. But the only reason I beat Elden Ring, I beat Elden Ring is because I spent time farming for the currency. And it's the same thing in Mina. There was a lot of items in the shops that I wanted, mostly health upgrades. And I'm like, I found a great spot to farm bones, but it took a few minutes to do a run around my loop for my kills. So I sat down, I'm like, am I going to really spend 2 hours farming the currency? Yes, I am. And then I saw the modifier that'll just boost the gain. I'm like, you know what? Instead of spending 2 or 4 hours just grinding it, I'll just turn it on and do it in 30 minutes. And that's what I did. So I used that modifier. I have no shame in it. It made the game faster for me to do what I was going to do anyway.
What it's there for.
That's what it's there for. And honestly, the game, I think, is designed with that in mind. I like how it lets you customize the difficulty however you want. There's also fun ones in there, too. Like, there's one that has Mina dance at random. There's one where she's double the size. There's
very
dozens
NBA
and dozens
Jam
of them.
Type
Type
fucking cheap stuff.
Like, they even have in categories. There's harder ones, easier ones, and weird ones. Like, they have different categories. But when you beat the game, it unlocks another 100 of them. Like, there's like 200 modifiers in the game. It's a huge, massive list.
Wow.
But one of the modifiers that unlocks is an item randomizer. And I saw an interview with the developer, and he came right out and said it. It's like, I love Legend of Zelda randomizer runs that people do, which is like, for those who don't know, it's a fan-made hack where you can take a Legend of Zelda game and it randomizes the location of items, but the game is still beatable even though the items are randomized. Mina has that as an option you can turn on once you've beaten the game. and I messed around with it a little bit,
Huh.
but it's not just like it randomizes items. It gives you options like the first pouch you get in the game is meant to be a health potion. You can make that random, or you can keep it static. You can make it so it's randomized what weapon you start with, or the option in the chest is randomized. So instead of the daggers and the flail and the hammer, it could be any of the 5 weapons. So that can be randomized. There's quite a bit. You can randomize enemy stats and damage that they do. It's really interesting. And what was really great when I was looking at it, like, I don't have the energy to do a second run right now, but when I come back to this game in the future, and I think I would, there is an option to normalize the damage so it's more like a Zelda game. I tried just a little bit to see what that was like. It's still hard as crap. But knowing that I can normalize the damage to be like a Zelda game, and I can randomize all the items and weapon placements and all that kind of stuff and tinker it, you can really customize how you play this game and the difficulty. That I think this could be very interesting. I could see speedrunners or people doing races of being it could be a very interesting thing if people could get into it. But the initial difficulty and frustration, I think, might be off-putting for a lot of people.
Maybe I don't think it carries the same weight as like a Souls type difficulty. I could see that being off-putting to some people.
Yeah.
I think to me, this just carries a very retro style difficulty challenge. I think it's very much on the vein of Castlevania. Castlevania is not a fucking easy game. None of them are. Notoriously.
I can't beat Castlevania.
So honestly, I think the biggest thing is that it's NES hard. Like it carries that moniker, I think, fairly well. And if you are like me, for the first time in my life, I was like, I am not going to smash my head into this wall anymore. I want to play this and enjoy it and see where it takes me. You can change that. You can change the damage rate that you get hit on. You can change falling into pits. You can make Mina walk faster. If you think she walks too slow, you can speed that up. You can speed up the jumps. There's a ton of shit that makes this game like cool. I just want to play it to play it, not because I'm worried about any challenges. And now that I've done all this stuff, and once I learn the map and I figure out where things are a little bit more accurately, I will go back and play it with the difficulty turn normal, like turn all this stuff off and try it that way again. Now that I've figured out how things work and how I feel, how what the inputs lag is, or if there's anything crazy like that. When you get comfortable with it, then you can play it at any level or any rate you want to. And I'll be the first one to say, turn all the shit on that makes the game fun for you, and then go back and play it without it. That's what it's designed to do. Usually I'm the one that argues that, but I'm waving the white flag. Within 15 minutes, I was waving the white flag.
I beat Silksong with an easier time than Mina. Mina was harder than Silksong for me. Which is crazy. Yeah.
I still haven't finished Silksong, so.
I can tell you one good example of Modifier 2, the other one I turned on. One of the core things you do in the game, after you beat the dungeon, you have to climb a tower, and it's a different perspective on the gameplay.
Yeah, the Sparks towers are kind of cool.
You have to rush, because if you don't rush, there's a spark line that chases after you, and if it touches you, you fall down, you have to repeat it. By the 3rd tower, I was fucking done with that line. Like, I don't like the towers to begin with. I don't like the change in movement and how you have to rush. I didn't like that at all. But having that spark line chase after you was driving me freaking nuts. So I turned it off. There's a modifier to turn it off. So I turned it off. And the rest of the towers, I think there's the handful I did after that, I'm like, much more of a fun time. They were still hard. I still had to figure out how to navigate up the tower and all that stuff, because each one has a little bit of a different hook. But not having to deal with that spark line made the game a lot easier for me. Or a lot more fun.
I want to say the first tower I did probably took me 3 or 4 tries, starting to understand the mechanics. Yeah. Most of them have taken me 3 or 4 tries. One of them took me like a dozen. It was pissing me off. And one of them I got first try.
Yeah.
Which one was the hard one?
Like,
it's got to be Bone Beach.
I want to say
Bone Beach was my most difficult one. But that was the first one I did too. I've been able to do first tries on the other 2 that I've done.
Me.
Yeah,
let me see.
Some of them are definitely easier than others. That's why I'm like, it's crazy you guys did that one first, because I had so much trouble with that dungeon. Like, the crypt is so much easier. But knowing that I could do this in any order, like, I might do the Arcane Ordinary first to see if I could do it next time. Like, there must be a way to get in there. A lot of cool stuff. Right.
September was the hard one for me.
That was the one with fire
that was
on
the
the
hard tower.
I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm going to next.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and also this game is $20. They deliberately
Worth
priced
it.
it the
Yeah.
same, the Silk Song
Absolutely
price,
worth
right?
it.
I think they could have gotten away with charging 25 or 30. There's definitely, I mean, it
Yeah.
took me 20 hours to beat. There's a lot of game here, plus the new game plus. There is a dedicated new game plus system in the if you want to use it. I don't think I'm going to do that, but you unlock all those modifiers and you can just customize the runs how you want. That part is really cool. The randomizer. There's a lot of game here. They easily could have charged $30, but they aggressively chose 20, I guess, to get some sales. And I think so far, I think I saw it was 500,000 copies, I think, so far, at least the other
Wow.
day. So it definitely sold well for Yacht Club Games, which is good.
Didn't they say
$20
that
is
this
pretty
was
good.
like this was
Yeah.
their Hail Mary, and it's easily done what it's supposed to do. So good for them.
So
This is a great game.
Famously for Shovel Knight, when they had the Kickstarter, they did a Kickstarter for Mina, but they learned their lesson from Shovel Knight where their stretch goals was DLC. And if you funded Shovel Knight in the Kickstarter, you got the DLC for free. That hurt
Yep.
them, I think, financially, because a lot of those DLCs for Shovel Knight were not short. They're full-on campaigns, and they're all very distinct. So
Right.
there's
It
nothing
wasn't
like
just
for
that.
Mina.
It was like if you bought the game early on, you got all the DLCs. I bought the
Right.
game for the Wii U. And I think it's the Wii U.
Treasure
Might have been
Trove
Wii. I
edition.
don't remember.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Treasure Trove edition. It was just the disc, but
Oh,
it
really?
came with all the updates.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So it was a $20 game, but it came with all the updates.
So like they came out and said that there's no DLC planned for Mina, and if there is, it won't be free, which is fine. I
Fine.
don't think I need anything
Fine.
free for this
You
game.
sold me a $20 base game. I'll buy your fucking
Yeah.
DLC.
Like when I was watching an interview with the developer, he said like this game got delayed a few different times. It was supposed to come out a year ago, or released a year ago, and he said he's glad they were able to delay it because the last couple dungeons, while they were finished, they weren't polished. They weren't great. There were some things that were a bit annoying with it. So they took the additional months of work to polish those final dungeons to give you a more cohesive experience all the way through, which I think was worth it. Because like this is a game that stands on its own. When you play it, nothing feels missing. Nothing feels underdone. Every single area has something unique about it. The number of trinkets is crazy. There's a ton of secrets, which we're not even going to go into, right? Because I don't want to ruin it. Like there's tons of things in this game that are really awesome to find and explore. So there's a lot there.
Yeah,
And
and
if there's,
the further you get in, the easier it gets to be able to
Yeah.
track down secrets that you didn't find, which
Right.
I like.
yeah.
That was
So,
a great
like,
game. This is a fantastic game.
Yeah, like when I beat it, it gives you, it does the Metroid item percentage completion or items found. I got 65, I think, % of items found. So there's tons that I missed, right? And it's pretty cool. So I not easy at the start, but it does get easier as you go. I don't like
Yes.
calling it a Souls-like. I think you're right, Wolf. Maybe we do call it a Souls-light. Coin that term, because it definitely has elements of Dark Souls, but it's not. The death part of it is not nearly as frustrating as like a Souls game would be to me, right? And like
Right.
even though I say I had issues with certain bosses, I don't think I ever spent more than maybe 5 times on one boss, like death, like attempts, like whereas Elden Ring, hours on a boss,
Years.
yeah,
Years. It's been years.
right? Like never mind Melania, but there's a bunch of bosses in Elden Ring that took me hours to get through, whereas Mina was like half hour tops. So difficult game, retro hard, sure, but it's not impossible at times.
No.
So yeah.
No.
Anything else you guys want to touch on about Mina? I think it's a pretty solid game.
This is not. I wouldn't call this game of the year in my opinion, but this is a fantastic game, and I would absolutely suggest any of our retro friends that like this kind of style of stuff to jump on this thing. It's $20. You can't spend that kind of money and get this kind of content nowadays. $20 in this economy, absolutely. Pick up Mina, run it. It's a lot of fun.
I like that there's multiple forms of fast travel, depending on like what you find when. But the one that I got first, and the reason I didn't get it earlier than I did, is the train. And for me, I thought it was I had to unlock each station. And I figured out pretty quick. I was like, this is going to take a lot of bones to unlock the station. So I never deposited anything.
Yeah.
And then later I was like, all right, I'll pick one. I'll unlock that one. And I'll just put the money in that. And I put a bunch of money in it, but I didn't have enough yet. And then I was over near another one and I had enough to max it out. I knew I did. So I was like, all right, let's do it here. And it only took the remainder of the full amount. And I was like, oh my God, I could have done this way earlier. I was kind of annoyed. I wish it were a little clearer. And I'm sure it probably was. And I just didn't catch it when they introduced it because I was still learning so much about this game at once.
This game is very vague on what it tells you information or where to go or what to do.
There's a lot of things that seem innocuous that are not.
Yeah.
Is I think what it is. And there's, like I said, there's been a bunch of situations where I was like, oh, somebody straight up told me how to do that. And I didn't realize they were telling me how to do that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like you'll see an NPC do something and it may not click with you until, for my case, hours later, and you realize, oh, okay, they told me how to do this hours ago. I could have saved myself some issues with something if I was paying attention more, for sure. Right. So the train thing is interesting in that some of the stations are easy to get to or required to get to, but then there's others that are kind of out of their way or locked in certain ways. And there's one I didn't find too much later in the game. So that part was pretty cool. You have to find the station first before you can use it. But once you find it, you don't have to pay for anything, right? But yeah, different. Very cool game. Anything you guys want to shout out? Videos or streaming that you guys are doing?
Working on some stuff, but I'm going on vacation in a week, so I don't know if there'll be much content coming out of me, but I'll be upgrading my PC, so I'm pretty jacked about that. So
okay. Wolf, how about you?
No, I got nothing.
Okay. Starfo, we did have Summer Games Week. Our Summer Games Fest is now over. There was a ton of game announcements. We did do a live stream last week with Steve from Fine Time Podcast. Just doing a watchcast of the Summer Games Fest. You didn't watch that, and check it out. Lots of great announcements. And also, the Nintendo Direct was this week, and they announced more Star Fox news. But they also released a demo of Star Fox to the Switch 2, so I downloaded that, and I kind of compared the demo with the original Star Fox N64. So there's a video up on the Press B channel. Feel free to give that a look at. The game is I'm torn about Star Fox. I kind of want to buy it, but I kind of don't want to spend that money on it because I know how short that game is. But anyway, there's a video there. If you enjoy our show, you can always support us financially if you like over at patreon.com/PressBTCancel. Don't have to, but we appreciate it if you do. We have different tiers there you can support us at. And if you support us at our Circus Charles tier, we do shout out your name during the podcast. So we have 2 members of our Circus Charles tier, Enthusiast Jeff and Von Beerley. Thank you guys for your support. And thank you to all our patrons, regardless of tier, for your generosity there. And of course, you don't have to support us monetarily. If you want to just like the show, share with friends, subscribe on YouTube and on Twitch, please. We're trying to get those numbers up. It definitely makes a difference. So we do appreciate that. Check us out at pressbtcancel.com as our main website. There's a link to our Discord there. Feel free to come to Discord. Tell us what you like about Mina or what you don't like about Mina. That's fine. We're used to it. And that as well, you can listen to our audio versions of our podcast the following Mondays over any of your favorite podcasting apps, or you can watch us live on Friday evenings over here on YouTube or on Twitch at Press B to Cancel. Otherwise, I think that's the show, guys. Mina the Hollower. It's $20. Check it out. We'll talk to everybody next week.
Hollowing in this economy?